What's up, Rams fans? Welcome back to Rams Showcase. Tonight, some Rams rookies have put ink on contracts. Plus, OTAs have begun, and we are seeing an offensive line shake-up. And later, Jalen Ramsey hurts Bears fans' feelings. Next on Rams Showcase.
Welcome to Rams Showcase on Sports War Radio.
Whoa, what's going on, Rams fans? Welcome back to Rams Showcase right here on Sports War Radio. I'm your host, Joe Branham, but you can and should call me Sheriff Joe Bags. I'm laying down the law for you guys tonight. Cool stuff to get into. We got rookies signing contracts. This is expected news, but it's always nice to see, at least, you know? We get these guys coming in. We got some OTAs beginning and some stuff to talk about as far as up front goes. Some number changes, some of you guys might have heard about. You guys are not going to like my opinions on this. And the Bears fans they're sensitive and their feelings are hurt. Jalen Ramsey has hurt feelings of the Chicago Bears fans. But it's okay. I think they're going to be all right. I think so. We've got some advice for Bears fans a little bit later on. Let's go ahead and hop in. We're not going to take up too much of you guys' life tonight. It is May the 19th. May the 19th be with you. That's my dumb joke of the entire month. And I'm not going to say the real one. Yeah, so we won't take up too much of you guys' life. We just want to update and get, I don't want to say get through because I love doing this, but we want to make sure that you guys understand what's happening right now with your LA Rams. Let's go ahead and start, though, with rookie signing. So, of course, the rookies, all the drafted rookies are going to get 4-year contracts. The Rams, again, are without a first-round pick selection, so none of these guys will be eligible for the fifth-round the fifth-year option. But all of these guys will have 4-year contracts. And actually, let me just get a quick refresh here so that I know that I am completely up to date and that we don't have others that we need to discuss or add to my list. Looks like there are no updates, at least on this website, for signings. So we'll start with wide receiver Tutu Atwell, the Rams' first selection in this draft class. He's going to be making that $3.75 over the next 4 years. $3.75 million for the Rams. And, you know, Tutu joins a pretty loaded wide receiver group. Of course, headlined by Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and Deshaun Jackson. Van Jefferson, I saw some photos of him from the OTA photos, and he's looking a little bigger than he was last year. So, hey, maybe that'll make him a little bit more physical. Maybe he makes a bigger impact this year. I know Sean McVay has had some very positive things to say about Van Jefferson, but we haven't seen that translate onto the field yet. So, and that's a partially a playing time thing, but also, I mean, he's not out there. It's hard to get a rhythm when you're out there like once every 9 plays. It's just difficult. So Tutu joins a pretty loaded group, but he does look like he has a skill set that can improve this group. So that's good stuff. Next one here is going to be defensive end Ernest Brown, 4 years, $3.75 million as well. So he joins a group that, you know, did lose some people. Brockers and Morgan Fox are losses all along the defensive line. So Brown coming in, if he can keep developing and do an awesome job in that regard, then, you know, then he's got himself a nice little spot where we could see him into this rotation as early as this season. Running back Jake Funk, he's got that 4 years, $3.58 million deal. The Funk, the whole funk and nothing but the Funk is going to be taking on, you know, that's a tough one because I feel like this guy's more of a special teams guy. He is in that range of, you know, because, like, is he better than Cam Akers? Probably not. Is he better than Darrell Henderson? Probably not. Is he better than a guy like Calais? Maybe not. I don't know yet. We'll have to see. I'm really excited to see Funk in preseason. This year, like, preseason is super important this year. We didn't have one last year. I feel like we lost out on some hidden gems last year. Some guys that never got a chance to play in those preseason games to really show off what they can do. Funk, though, he'll get that chance. He'll get playing time. And if Funk makes this roster, I feel like he catches 2 first downs from Johnny Hekker this year. Fingers are crossed, at least. Next one up is going to be wide receiver Ben Skowronek, 4 years, $3.56 million. And Skowronek, just like Atwell, joining a very loaded group at the wide receiver position for the LA Rams, but And I know that I've penciled this guy in as a cut. That is not anything against Ben Skoranek, all right? He's not a bad player, but he's joining a loaded group. All right, so Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Jackson, Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, and then you got also guys like Simba Webster, who's been a special teams guy. I don't know if he will anymore. That's a possible cut as well. But Skoranek, I mean, I think in order for him to the where he was drafted, the way that the depth chart is likely going to be set up, I'm sure he's not shooting up to number 3 or 2 right now. The way that everything is set up for Skoranek, I mean, he's going to have to absolutely blow some minds in preseason to try to make this roster. I'm not saying he's not capable of that. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think he gets cut. Some people were like, dude, you're harsh on Skoranek. It's like, okay, first of all, he's a football player, and I'm sure he's fine. He just got drafted by the LA Rams. I'm sure he doesn't care what Sheriff Joe Banks has to say. You know what I mean? I'm sure he's doing fine. But I think he's a cut, but hey, we'll see what happens, man. I don't want him to do bad. Next one up is going to be defensive end, Chris Garrett, 4 years, 3.56. The reason I say that with a question mark or talking like a high school girl would is the fact that I was under the impression that Chris Garrett was definitely a linebacker. So I've seen it on 2 different lists now, him listed as defensive end. So not really sure where he's going to be sitting at. I've been trying to look in the OTA pictures that the Rams website puts out. I'm trying to look and see if he's lined up anywhere. The only one that I've seen of Garrett, he was just walking. So, I mean, that doesn't tell you a whole lot. He's got like his mask on. This at 48. That's how I knew it was him. That's and yeah, so Chris Garrett, though, I'm hearing good things about Garrett, man. That's every once in a while I'll get like a random message or a comment of somebody who knows a little bit more about Garrett than I do, and they're like, "Hey, man, he's a good player. Like, it's like 7th round. That's low for him. Of course, like 4 would be high, but I mean, in the 7th, if you can get a guy like that, then good to go." But I saw him at the OTAs rocking that 48 with the mask on. And I've been just trying to find some clues in those photos. Sometimes you get some clues like we did in this one. So the OTAs have begun, like we were just discussing, and the clues that I'm looking for are when players are lined up for something. So we saw a picture of Matthew Stafford, Rams' new quarterback. He was lined up under center. That was Austin Corbett. So these Rams, a lot of Rams fans were mad at this team for not drafting an offensive lineman this year in this year's draft class. I, for one, didn't think we needed to. I thought we would, but I did not think we needed to. I think we've got depth there, and I think we've got all of our starters already. The center position is one that we do have a pretty strong battle at right now. We've got Brian Allen, who has started there before, Coleman Shelton, who I'm a fan of, and Austin Corbett that can play in that role as well. And then Corbett, we know, can also play at guard. He played there last year at left guard, but David Edwards has played at guard, which is where we saw him in this photo as well. He was playing at left guard, Austin Corbett's spot. And then at right guard, we saw Bobby Evans. That is the position that he played in the playoff game against the Green Bay Packers. Had a rough day that day, but also we've seen him have good days. So I'm not going to, I mean, it sucks that his bad day happened in the postseason. That's always a rough one, but I'm not going to base my opinion on this gentleman just off of that one game. It was a bad game for sure, and it's unfortunate timing, but we've seen him play really well. So I'm not going to put that evil on him right now, but Evans at right guard, that makes sense. Evans at right guard, I may have said Edwards. Edwards at left guard, that makes total sense. And we've talked about Austin Corbett potentially taking center reps already. So I think that this is just something. I think we're just going to see some shuffling, man. I think we're shake up the names, throw them up into the air, and then just see where they land. And like, okay, you play there, you play there, you play there. And just see how it goes for a second. You know what I mean? And like, if they're not gelling, like, okay, switch it up. Toss them back in the air. You know what I mean? Whatever you're tossing. I don't know what you're doing. But I think that we'll see a lot of shifting until the season starts. I think in preseason we could see some things happen, but we've got depth at these spots as well. I truly am not mad that the Rams did not draft any offensive lineman in this class, because not only do I like our top 5, if you will, but I also like our depth. We know, okay, so in this situation, so we got Whitworth, we got Edwards, we got Corbett, we got Evans, and then we got Havenstein in that situation that we saw. Other than that, in depth, we've got Brian Allen, we've got Coleman Shelton, we've got, Bobby Evans is a depth guy. We haven't even said Joe Noteboom yet. We've got Tremaine Ankrum that the coaches are really high on. So I didn't see the need. And I don't know if Rams fans are still just locked in on that 2019 where this offensive line did have a down year. But, that was sandwiched in between 2 really good years. 2020, top 3 offensive line. And 2018, the Super Bowl year, the Rams literally won Offensive Line of the Year at NFL Honors. So they had that one bad year, and then just from there, every Rams fan, ever since then, Rams fans have been like, our offensive line, we need offensive line, we need offensive line. I realize that Witt is old. I'm the one saying that all the time, that how old Witt is. And adding a game to the regular season makes me a little nervous about it. But I like our depth. Tremaine Ankrum and Noteboom are 2 guys that I think could fill that role. Havenstein could probably move over. Edwards in a pinch, and probably Evans in a pinch, could take over that role, and I think that they would at least hold their own. I don't think that we live or die by one of these guys. Excuse me. Of course, Witt is a very talented offensive lineman. And though just the way he's built, he just looks like a left tackle. You know what I mean? He's got that Orlando Pace build to him. It's really weird, but I think our offensive line's fine. But that's what we're seeing right now. I haven't noticed anything else yet that has kind of caught my attention. But Corbett taking reps at center, that definitely stuck out to me. So I wanted to pass that along to you guys. Let's talk about some number changes, and just 2 of them this time. First, we'll start with running back Cam Akers, because Cam Akers, as a rookie last year, wore number 23 out of FSU. But now he's going to be wearing number 3. He wore number 3 as just a little guy. Just a little Cam. Little tiny Ram Akers wore number 3, but he wore that his entire career. All the way FSU, he was 3. High school, he was 3. So it's really cool. And that kind of stuff is really cool for me to see. It's those guys. It's not like the guys just picking a number because they're like, that number's kind of cool. It's guys picking a number because that was their number their whole life. You know what I mean? Tavon Austin right now would probably be a number 1. Of course, that's Deshaun Jackson for the Rams. But Cam Akers wearing the number 3. That doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I think it's actually awesome. And I'm sure he's stoked about wearing his old number, because numbers is not that big of a deal. It's not. Ultimately, I don't really care what number anybody's wearing, but my jerseys, you can see one of them up here, number 9, Sheriff Joe Bags. That's always what I go with. So yeah, I like the number 9, and I got my high school jersey in my closet as well. That one's number 9. It's just my number. So I get it from that standpoint. But some of these numbers, though, have caused a little bit of a reaction, and for myself, so far, the one that I've reacted the biggest to would be the number 4 by Jordan Fuller, but this one is getting a lot more attention than that. And I saw a bunch of articles pop out on it, and a bunch of attention come to this. But actually, how I found out is I just went to the Rams website, went to the roster, because I was trying to figure out, okay, if Matthew Stafford's a number 9, what number is the Wolf wearing? John Wolford, what number is he going to be rocking this season? Because he's, of course, still here. He was number 9 last year. And with Matthew Stafford coming to town, he's already taken promo pics rocking number 9, so we know we can't have 2 number 9s. Double 9 would be Aaron Donald, so we can't do that either. But John Wolford will be wearing number 13. And this is rubbing a lot of Rams fans not in a good way. Rams fans not too thrilled about this because of one Kurt Warner, who happened to be the only quarterback in Rams history to bring a Super Bowl to this franchise. Where was this outrage when Chris Givens was here wearing 13? Because I don't remember it. And if it's there, that's cool, but I also don't care, because it's just a number. And also, guys, if I found it, I'll post it up here, but Kurt Warner doesn't even care. Kurt Warner was like, yeah, I hope he makes it his own, man. It's like, that's cool. That's cool. Just do your thing. No, it's not a big deal. If Kurt Warner doesn't care, why the hell would I? It wasn't my number. I wasn't playing in Super Bowls with the number 13 on my back. He was, and he's okay with it. So if he's okay with it, I don't understand how anybody else feels justified. It's like if somebody said something about my show and I was like, oh, I don't care. Like, that's fine. And like somebody else out there was like, hey, you can't say that about Rams Showcase. It's like, but I don't care. It's like, hey, you don't say that though. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. He's wearing number 13. Kurt Warner. That's because we talked about that last week. I had a lot of fun with that actually, with people commenting of like their favorite players in certain numbers. Maybe we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. We'll start with a random one. I'm going to write it down so that I know which one I'm using. We'll start with your favorite all-time Ram to wear number 83. Drop it below. Drop it below. But yeah, so for Cam Akers, the only one that really sticks out to me is Josh Brown and the old kicker. I know he ran into some issues off the field, but that's none of my business. I am a fan of him because of what he did on the field, which was kick the football through an upright, and he did that very good, so I'm a fan. And actually, though, I think my favorite Josh Brown moment wasn't even on like an NFL field at all. It was when he was in the movie Jackass, and he kicked that football into that dude's face. Loved that. Love that stuff. That's good. And yeah, so for number 3, we'll go with Josh Brown. I'm trying to think of other number 3s that we've had. None are really sticking. What number was Donnie Jones? I don't think he was 3. I think he was 5. But for number 13, for the Wolf, Kurt Warner, Chris Gibbons are the ones that stick out to me. I'm sure there's a lot of really good. I'm sure there's a lot better ones than those, or at least than Gibbons. Warner's a top one for 13 for sure. All right, let's talk about Jalen Ramsey hurting some feelings. All right, I'm gonna put this one up for sure, and I'm also gonna read it to you guys. So, Jalen Ramsey. He went on to, I believe this is Instagram. I'm not very used to the stories on social media because I apparently found out today, by the way, that Facebook is for old people. Didn't know that. Younger coworker agreed with me today. We agreed with that. So I guess it's happening. We're all old now, guys. At least I am. Anyway, Jalen Ramsey posted on Instagram. So I can't wait until week 1 so all these lame Bears fans can shut up about their number 2 wide receiver. It's funny because they know better too. And this has been quite the story unfolding because these Chicago Bears fans, they're like, oh man, we are so in his head. Are you? Are you? We are talking about a wide receiver who played in all 16 games last year. So that's cool. Played in all 16, so at least he's not out here just, getting hurt. He started in only 9, so even the Chicago Bears, who were not a very good football team last year, didn't feel the need to start him in every game. He started in just over 50% of their games last year. Had 631 yards, 4 touchdowns. Not bad. Definitely not bad. If Josh Reynolds puts up those numbers, we're like, hell yeah, man. Good year, Josh. If Tyler Higbee puts up those numbers, decent, pretty strong. Probably could do better, but hey, that's pretty good. Let's not pretend like these are Pro Bowl numbers is what I'm saying. 631 and 4. Let's not pretend that these are Pro Bowl numbers, all right? So Ramsey might be the best cornerback in the game today, and we're talking about a number 2 wide receiver for the Bears. In their long history of amazing wide receivers out of Chicago, we're talking about the Bears' number 2 wide receiver in 2021. Their number 1 is very good. Robinson is awesome, in fairness. But I'll be honest with you guys, I had to look this guy up to see anything about him. I'm a football guy, all right? I love football. I had to look this guy up. Ramsey shouldn't even be on Mooney in week 1. Because he isn't the number 1 wide receiver. and Jalen Ramsey might be the best cornerback in the league this year. So, will we see Ramsey on Mooney? Maybe a couple of times. But when you have one of the better players in the NFL in his position, if not the best, you typically tend to put them on the opposing top talent, which would be Allen Robinson in this case for the Chicago Bears. I think that's clear, actually, that Robinson is the number one there. So, against the Rams last year, Mooney had 3 catches in his rookie season. 3 catches for 40 yards. Whoa, guys. Whoa. If he's going to be putting up these kind of numbers, how do we expect to win this game? If he's going to catch 3 footballs for 40 yards, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to stop him? I don't know. Because 40 yards, I mean, that's just, I can't handle it. These Bears fans are out here calling Mooney Ramsey's father because he had 3 catches for 40 yards. 3 catches for 40 yards. Oh, yeah, he's his dad now. Yeah. We call Ramsey DK Metcalf's father, but at least we have statistical evidence and game film to look at where we can be like, yeah, look, he's better. He's crushing him. That guy right there, DK, he's one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. But that guy, Jalen, shutting him down in 3 games last year. 3 of them. Did awesome against him. Goes against top wide receivers throughout the year and typically does a pretty good job shutting those guys down. Mooney, not on that list for a couple of reasons. He had 3 catches for 40 yards. And now he's apparently the best ever, according to these Bears fans. But also, he's not going to be against Ramsey all game. Just a couple of times. But bad news, Mooney, because our CB2, D-Will, Darius Williams, number 11, dude's pretty damn good too. So, either way, going to be a rough day. Be a rough day for Mooney, I'm thinking. But these Bears fans are calling Mooney, they're saying that he's Ramsey's father. Which, I can only mean one thing. These Bears fans need help. I've included in the description below a link to different mental health centers in the Chicago area. It breaks it down. It's very, very easy to understand. But this is clearly something that these Bears fans need to seek out. Because mental health, it's a real problem, guys. Mental health issues are real. And we're seeing this unfold on the internet right now, in front of our eyes. These Bears fans genuinely think that Mooney is Ramsey's father, that Mooney is unstoppable, and we don't have the team to do it, guys. Darius Williams, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, we can't do it. If he's going to be putting up 3 catches for 40 yards, how do you defend that? How do you defend that? So these Bears fans, guys, if you know a Bears fan who is saying these things and talking about how Mooney is just the next, he's just Jesus out here. He's just the Connor McDavid of football. And Jalen Ramsey stands no chance. Please forward them that link. Mental health is no joke, but the Bears fans are. All right, we're going to go ahead and hop into our break. On the other side, we got Fan Quesos. Don't go anywhere. What's up, Rams fans? I'm Sheriff Joe Bags, and you need to know about Shaw's Customs. Custom vinyl decals are the best way to show all the other cars in traffic what you are most passionate about. Deals on vinyl packs right now with 7 different logos in yellow, white, or blue. Custom shot glasses and beer mugs for brewskis with the broskies. That's not all. No way. Superhero and political decals also available. Visit the link in the description and check it out for yourself. Tell Josh that Sheriff Joe Bag sent you. You won't get a deal, but he'll get a kick out of it. Shaw's Customs. And welcome back in, Rams fans. So we are going to get into our Fan Queso, sponsored by Shaw's Customs. Hope you guys enjoyed my commercial that I spent Saturday making. I think it came out pretty cool, and I'm pretty proud of it. So there you go. All right, let's go ahead and start. This first one's not a question. We are not going to address it because I do know I didn't read all. I actually only read one question beforehand, and that is this one here from Cody. And it does address the same thing that the original comment did address. So Cody wants to know, should we retire number 13, and why isn't it retired? You know, man, that's a pretty strong question, but I do want to let it be known. Kurt Warner is what, like, I want to say he's 5th in Rams starts. He was here for what, 4? Was it 5 years? Maybe 6? It wasn't that many, but it was a chunk, but it wasn't that many. I don't think number 13 should be retired. I really don't. And I think retiring a number is for, there's no way around it without sounding like a jerk to Kurt Warner, but like I think retiring a number is reserved for the Deacon Jones, the Merlin Olsen, the Isaac Bruce, the Marshall Faulk, the Eric Dickerson, the Bob Waterfields, like those. I think that those are the numbers that should be retired. If I were to pick right now, if I had to pick a number that I would retire that's not retired from the Rams right now, I truly think I would go 55. If it was my choice, I think I would go 55. James Laurinaitis is the Rams' all-time leading tackler, overtook Merlin Olsen in that time. And while he was here with the Rams, he was amazing, man. Like he was a bright spot on the defense of some of like what I call the dark era, which was anywhere from like 2005-ish to like 2009. And didn't really we didn't get into the light era after that. We just the less dark, the gray era, we'll call it. But no, I don't think that number 13 should be retired. I realized that Kurt Warner was the Rams quarterback while we won the Super Bowl and did go to another one. So Kurt Warner has been the Rams quarterback for 50% of our Super Bowls. I get that. He's also the quarterback for 100% of our Super Bowl rings. Totally get that. But Kurt Warner doesn't care. Why would I? And also, I mean, this is the line that usually gets people mad at me about Kurt Warner, which is fine. Kurt Warner also came into the Rams with Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Orlando Pace, an amazing offensive line. Orlando Pace with like Timmerman and McCollum, guys like that. Marshall Faulk behind him. Dick Vermeulen's his coach. Pretty strong defense. I don't know this. I'll never know this for sure. But I really feel like the Rams probably could have maybe won the Super Bowl with Trent Green that year if he didn't get hurt. I think that most quarterbacks in that era could have been on that team with those players, those Hall of Famers around him, and probably could have done pretty good too. But then he goes to the Giants where he doesn't have those weapons, doesn't have the best offensive line, has a decent running back, but he gets benched for a rookie Eli Manning, which makes sense. That totally makes sense. But he just was not very good out there. Then he goes to the Arizona Cardinals. He's throwing to Anquan Bolden and Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, when he had a lot of talent around him, he played really well. When he didn't, he didn't. That's the way it is, man. I don't know. But that's all personal stuff. As far as like actual on-field evidence though, I still don't think that he's got enough to say retire 13. What past quarterback would you compare Stafford to? Oof. Tough question. Ooh, man. I don't know if we have a comparison to Stafford, man. I don't know if we've had a guy that's like this tough. That's this tough with just like a cannon. You know what I mean? Like, and keep in mind, I was born in 1991, so I didn't watch all of those. I've seen things from before my time on this earth, but I didn't get to experience it, like I experienced Mark Bulger and I know Mark Bulger, you know what I mean? I know his strengths. I know his weaknesses. I know when he sees something. I know when he's just throwing up a prayer, you know what I mean? I could see those things. So going back, I don't know those guys as well. But these new guys I could compare possibly, like, I mean, obviously Goff and then like the Bradford, Bulger, of course. And then like the peppering of all those other guys, the Kellen Clemens, Sean Hill, Austin Davis, Kyle Bowler, Keith Knoll, the best quarterback of all time, guys like that you kind of pepper in. But No, I don't think we've had a guy like Stafford before, man. I think that Stafford is really, truly a one of one for the Rams in their history. I don't think he compares to any of these other guys we've had before. Also, still, I know I say this like once every 3 episodes. This trade is still not getting, I think, the proper attention. I think that this trade is going to be one of those things that we look at in a couple of years like, holy crap, the Rams did it. Like they went and they knew that their weakness was quarterback, and they went and addressed it with somebody who was stuck on a bad franchise for years and saved him. We rescued him like a puppy, and it's like he's like the old puppy. We're like, hey man, come over here. If you're good to us, we'll be good to you, bro. And I think it's going to be perfect. So, I mean, to stay on Stafford for just 1 second, I've said all this before. I think I say a lot of things to a lot of different people in a lot of different settings. Sometimes it's hard to remember what I've said on the show, but I think that like Matt Stafford, like the Rams knew that the Rams won 10 games last year, won a road playoff game, and hung in with the Green Bay Packers, who are one of the better teams in the NFL today. They hung in there on the road in Lambeau in January, with quarterback being their weak spot. I don't think, I want to say I'm pretty confident that Jared Goff did not go over 200 passing yards in either playoff game this year. Quarterback was a weak spot. Best defense this team has ever had. The 2020 Rams defense is the best defense in Rams history. I'm just going to go ahead and claim that. I'm going to put my stamp on that. And quarterback was the weak spot. Quarterback held the Rams back last year. That's not good. So the Rams go and address that. With who? Experienced guy who's been stuck. This is now going to be Matthew Stafford going from the Detroit Lions to the LA Rams. He's got more weapons than he's ever had, not better weapons. None of these guys are better than Calvin Johnson. I'm not going to try to lie to you guys and say that Robert Woods is better than Calvin Johnson. He's not. I love Robert Woods. He's not better than Calvin Johnson. Okay? I don't think that should shock anybody. Nobody's sitting at home right now like, what? Joe? Nobody's doing that. More weapons, though, than he's ever had. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson had a sick one-hander in practice today, by the way. Or was that yesterday? Oh, I don't know. They're already blended together. It's like 3 days in. That can't be good, no? So, Matthew Stafford has better weapons than he's ever had before. More weapons than he's ever had before. A better offensive line than he's ever had before. A better running game than he's ever had before. A better defense than he's ever had before. A better coaching staff than he's ever had before. If we're going to go push it a little bit further, he's also living in a better city than he's ever lived in before. He's playing in a better stadium than he's ever played in before. Everything's better for Matthew Stafford. To think that he is going to play exactly the same as he did in Detroit, and you're going to take all of those aspects of his game and just drop them directly into the LA Rams offense, and then that's exactly what you get. That is ridiculous. That's an ignorant comment, honestly, because when you look at everything involved, the team around him, the coaching staff, the atmosphere, this is a winning culture. It's a new winning culture. I'll grant it. 2017 is when this bad boy started, and before that was some rough years. Okay, but winning culture now, incredible city. Like, that's everything about this is better. If you think that Matthew Stafford plays exactly the same way he did as a Lion, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I guess just wait for week 1, because I truly think that after week 1, all those Rams fans, who, by the way, if you're one of those jerks that's saying that Matthew Stafford needs to prove it to you, who the hell are you? Like, Matthew Stafford's really sitting on the bench press like, oh man, Jeff, man, he doesn't believe in me yet. Like, I gotta do it. Like, he does not care. Okay, he's gonna do fine. I'm pumped, and I think that the ego involved in a fan of saying he needs to prove it to me, the ego involved in that, I can't even understand. So maybe that's my fault. Maybe I'm the jerk here, because I cannot wrap my head around the ego of thinking that this player, this NFL quarterback, who was a first overall pick, he needs to prove it to you, sitting there eating Cheetos in your recliner watching the game. I don't get it. Next question from Cody. Top 5 Rams trades of all time. Gosh, Joe Slacken. Oh, man. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I don't want to answer this in a queso. Top 5s are not queso material. What I'm going to go ahead and do here, you guys are going to watch me take a note, because I'm going to put this on my segment for next week. So this is going to be, that's actually going to be, we'll probably open the show with that, because I know I've blown that off. All right. which is my bad. I think last week I just forgot. Before that, though, we did have some reasonings behind pushing it back because it just didn't really fit in with the rest of everything. So, yeah, we'll get that next week for sure, man. I've got the list saved. I might edit that, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Now time's passing. I'm second guessing myself. I'm gonna think about that one. We'll get you, though. It's already on my notes under next week. Let's see here. Next one from Cody. How long do you see us keeping Morris as a defensive coordinator, and any sleeper coaches you want if he's one and done in LA? And any chance we keep him for a while? Yeah, I would like to keep him for a while, but yeah, it's same thing as players, honestly. Coaches come and go. The scheme is huge, and the culture is huge. A guy like Sean McVay, the reason that I like Sean McVay so much, he comes in and he changes everything with his personality. It's not just schematic. It was like him coming in like saying above the neck every press conference, and it's just like it seeped in, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't say it as much anymore, but like his first 2 seasons, anytime he would say like above the neck, it's like, hey, everybody drink. Because that was just all he did. But so Raheem Morris comes in. I think Morris is an upgrade. I think that Morris is coming into as the Rams defensive coordinator. I think that's an upgrade over Staley. What I don't think is an upgrade is losing Aubrey Pleasant, losing Joe Barry. Those are big losses. But Staley, of course, a very good coach and deserving of the head coaching job for the Chargers. But I think Morris, in what we're going to do this year and the players that we have, I think Morris might be an upgrade. And so I think we could keep him around for a little while, but I think what helps us here is that he's already had head coaching experience and he wasn't getting calls on that. Well, maybe he was getting calls. I don't know what his phone log looks like, but he didn't get one of those. So maybe that helps us here that he has been a head coach before and it didn't stick. So maybe he's like a Wade Phillips where he knows defense coordinators like his cap. We've all got them. We've all got our caps in different areas. You just got to know it. You just got to know where your caps are. And Wade definitely knew his. Maybe that's Morris. Maybe that's him as well. As far as any sleeper coaches that I'd want if he's one and done in LA, I don't have any right now. Not necessarily. Maybe. No, I'm not going to say any yet because I want to see these units on the field because like our secondary this year, we did lose some talent there. So I want to see that unit, but also I want to look at the other units. I watch as many football games as I can. It's of course impossible to watch them all. I do other things like sleep and eat and stuff, but I can't watch every game, but I do try to keep like my finger on the pulse of the league and seeing, if a team's, secondary is penciled in to be one of the weaker ones in the league. And then they play really well with a bunch of no names. Who's that coach? That's my first question. Who's the coach? Who's that position coach? Who's that secondary coach? Or for the Rams, we'll use that example from just last year. The Rams going into the season, linebacker was listed as our weakest unit. It ended up at the very end of the season, it's a strength. And you know what happened? Joe Barry's now a defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers. So it's exactly what happened is on paper, it looks like a weak unit. Unit plays really well. Who is that coach? And that's what I want to look for. So I want to wait until the season happens, or at least like midway or something. I don't know, something. We need to get into some games to see where these units are at and how they're progressing. And that's how I pick out coaches, honestly. That's how I picked out liking Aubrey Pleasant so much and liking Joe Barry so much is that they come in and they make a group of names that we're not used to hearing. They make them really good and they make them play really well together. And that's huge. So I don't have any for you now. I think Morris will probably be here I'm going to guess 2 or 3 years, though. I don't think he'll be one and done. Next one here from Cody. Chances we could retain Whitworth as an offensive line coach when he retired. That would be dope. Dude, that would be dope. I have no idea the level of interest that Big Whit has in coaching, but I think that would be awesome. He clearly loves this game. He's having a very hard time stepping away from it. I think he wants a ring. If the Rams win a ring this year, Whit's peacing out, man. He's fading off, but it's, I would love to see him back as a coach. I think that would be really cool, actually. Good call, man. Good call. Especially losing Cromer. All right, next one here from Cody. Colts versus Rams. Colts versus Rams game. Big Pat McAfee fan here. Do you watch the show? And I hope we stomp that Colts, though. Speaking of punters, any Johnny Hecker news? No way we cut him. I'll address that first. So Johnny Hecker, I had made the comments about Bajorquez about Johnny Hecker possibly not being super safe. I'm not buying that anymore because it sounds like like Bojorquez was brought in due to COVID. And if anything were to happen to Johnny, all of a sudden now we just don't have a punter. So I think that's really where that situation unfolded. And I think that Hecker's safe. I don't think he's going anywhere. Let's see here. But Pat McAfee's show. Dude, I love the Pat McAfee show. There's a bunch of shows I really like. McAfee is one of them. And one part that I like about it, I like his squad. Not all of them are as funny as they think they are, but there's some pretty funny guys there as well. Not just Pat. Pat's really funny too. And I love that Hawk's on there too. Hawk is really cool. But he does an awesome job too. He's got just a way of communicating really well. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can't really pinpoint it right now, but I think AJ Hawk does an awesome job. But Pat McAfee, I like his show because it's a little bit more like casual. It's not so buttoned up, but I do like the buttoned up shows as well. I like the Dan Patrick show. I like Colin Cowherd. So I watch those shows, not the whole things, because that would be like 9 hours of shows. Like I can't do that. I don't have the. If you can do that, I mean, more power to you. That's awesome. But I do not have that kind of time in my day to sit and watch podcasts for 9 hours. So, but Pat McAfee, dude, yeah, I'm a big fan, Pat, for sure. I hope we can beat up on the Colts, though, like we have in the past. You know, we talked about it a little bit earlier with McVay's first game as a head coach being against the Colts with that big win, and then Tavon Austin absolutely exploding on the Colts before that. Like that one year, what was that? That was probably 14? Wait, there's 15. There's an easy way to do that. It was 8 years ago. Or if it was 8 years ago, it was 13. I'm real good at math. Anyway, Pat McAfee, yeah, I like him. Maybe I should start an alter ego. Will be Matt McAfee. Pat McAfee's biggest rival. All right, moving on. Cody, that Dude Perfect episode with GZ and Hecker was awesome. That is not a question, but it was awesome. Yeah, the NFL kicking edition. That's probably pretty old now too. That was probably like 13. Man, we're getting old, guys. We're getting old. There's so many players in the NFL now where I remember watching their dads play. Like that's not good. Like the Chargers just claimed Austin Proehl. I know he was previously with the Rams, but like obviously we remember watching his dad Ricky play, and then I remember watching Asante Samuel play, Patrick Surtain, Joe Horn, and now all three of those guys' sons just got drafted this year. So it's like, oh my gosh, I'm an old guy now. I've got like 4 gray hairs now. I had one a couple weeks ago. It's a freaking epidemic up here, but it's okay. We'll just keep wearing hats covered up. That's how we handle that. Anyway, yeah, that video was really cool, man. Dude Perfect guys are awesome. I haven't watched them that much lately. They've gotten really like, not bad, not in a bad way, but they feel super commercial now. I don't know. It's not just like dudes doing trick shots anymore. It's like a whole production of them like doing other things. I want to see trick shots. That's all and not with like ping pong balls and frisbees and stuff. Just throw the footballs and the basketballs and the hoops and stuff, man. That's all I wanted to see. Sometimes I'll go back and watch these older ones because the newer ones, not really doing it for me as much. Anyway, next one here from Cody is, no way the Colts beat us, right? I mean, I think Carson Wentz is going to look a lot different. I think he's going to be a day and night Wentz with the Colts. But is the first time we have faced the Colts with Sean McVay, excluding when we faced Scott Tolzien at quarterback. Yeah, they didn't have luck that game, which was a bummer. I prefer to beat teams at full power. And part of that's because of fans. Fans are jerks and ridiculous. And they're like, oh, well, if we would have had this guy, you would have won. So first of all, Andrew Luck is not worth 45 points, bro. Relax. It's fine. Like, we just played pretty good that day. All right. But no, actually, yeah, Sean McVay's first game was against the Colts. That was a pretty good one. LaMarcus Joyner sprinting through the end zone. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but even watching that highlight where he's like sprinting down the field and then he just like hits the end zone and just turns. Like, I don't know. Crack me up. But the no way they beat us, dude. I think that's a damn good football team out there, man. Those Colts are not messing around. And I think they get better with Wentz. I really do. You know, Wentz was, the Eagles are not in a good position right now. We'll just say that. And I think Wentz got a little bit lucky getting out of there. like the opposite of Jared Goff. Like Jared Goff gets sent from the LA Rams, who are like a playoff team, all this stuff, and then he goes to Detroit, who is like probably looking at a number 2 overall pick this year behind the Texans, and then you get Carson Wentz, who goes from a bad team who has no idea what the hell they want to do at quarterback. And word is that if Deshaun Watson comes available, they're going to push for him. So Jalen Hurts is sitting out there like, do I ever get to play? And I think Wentz gets lucky going to the Colts because they got a pretty good squad out there, man. Next one here is going to come from Paul. Realistic floor versus ceiling for the Rams in 2021. Strong question. Okay, realistic floor. The Rams won 10 games and won a road playoff game with Jared Goff at quarterback last year, who could not stop turning the ball over. So, improving that position, of course, there is a little bit of a shakeup. You lose Everett, but you replace Harris. You lose Josh Reynolds, but Tutu Atwell comes in. I think that's an upgrade. And then, you do downgrade at safety with John Johnson going to the Cleveland Browns. So I like Terrell Burgess and I like Jordan Fuller, but John Johnson was very, very good at this game. So, and then Troy Hill, I mean, that is a loss, but also, I mean, he was just a very good player. He was not like an absolute stud. He was just a very good football player. So I think we can replace that as well. My bet is Rochelle, but, to say a floor for this team, like I said, we won 10 last year and improved the most important position on the football field in quarterback. I'm going to say our floor is 8 wins. I'm going to say 8, and for our ceiling, I'm going to go ahead and say, high end, I think we would push 14. 14-3, that feels kind of extreme, but especially out of the NFC West, those are 3 very tough games right off the jump. And then you also we got the Bucks this year, we got the Packers this year, we got the Colts this year. I mean, there's some very good, the Ravens, there's some very good football teams this team plays. So 14-3, I think would be impressive if the Rams could pull that off. But I would say anywhere from 8 to 14 is that's what 14 would be high end. But realistically, man, I really think this Rams team, I think we win 12 or 13 this year. I think that's reasonable. I don't think that's like me being like just Rams fan being like, oh man, we're going to be so good. I just think that's fair. Let me change my battery on my camera. I'll be right back. And this next question comes from Paul. Most intriguing positional battle to watch. Solid question, man. There's actually one that I'm really keeping a close eye on throughout the preseason especially, and that's going to be the nickel cornerback position. David Long is kind of penciled in there right now, but Robert Rochelle, the rookie, I think that he's one that can kind of come in and maybe take over that role. I don't know if this comment will make sense to anybody, but because I'm not like a scout or anything like that, but seeing his play and then seeing his build, it was like, oh, okay, this guy's going to be good. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody else. Like you can see like just the way like Andrew Whitworth is built. You're like, oh, he's a very good left tackle. Like this is the way it is. You know what I mean? Like, and I've got that feeling about Bobby Brown as well. Bobby Brown, just the way he's built is like, oh, he can play defensive tackle in this league for sure. Like he could be a starter. And Robert Rochelle, he's got those vibes to me for the cornerback spot. So I think, we'll see. I obviously that's not like my professional opinion over here saying that like, oh, he's built nice. So it's, he's probably pretty good. He's built like other corners have been good before. So he's probably good. That's not what I'm saying. But seeing his tape and then matching that with his build, which is very Jalen Ramsey-ish, or even, who is that guy for Seattle back? Browning, I want to say. Don't remember his name. Doesn't matter. He's got that kind of build, though. Like a tall, kind of beefy, I guess is the right word. I describe other people like that in like the most rude way possible, like coworkers and stuff. Like, hey, you look a little beefy, bro. Just hit the treadmill. Anyway, now no one's going to want to be my coworker. But yeah, I think that's a very good spot. And then the entire interior offensive line. So we know that Witt is on the left side. We know that Havenstein's on the right side. Everything in between that, we're not 100% on yet. So we know that Corbett has been seen at center, but also Brian Allen has center starts for the Rams before. Coleman Shelton is a guy that I'm a fan of. And then you also got the depth as far as like, because Bobby Evans, you got David Edwards, you got Joseph Noteboom. I know I'm missing people here. I'm trying to remember them just off the top of the dome. But yeah, I think that the interior offensive line is going to be something to watch because there's some versatility there as well. Like we saw Evans at right guard against the Packers last year in the playoffs. Didn't play really well, but we've seen him play really well before. I'm not gonna chastise Bobby Evans for having one bad game. Sometimes it happens. I've had bad shows. Things happen. But then you got David Edwards at left guard right now. He played a lot at right guard last year. He's also got one of my favorite Hard Knocks moments of all time. If you guys don't know, you don't know, but it's fine. And then, Corbett obviously was left guard last year, so he's got some versatility there. And then you also got depth in like Tremaine Ankrum, like I said, Joe Noteboom, Coleman Shelton, who can play any of those spots as well. So, I don't want to work myself back up again, talking about the Rams not drafting an offensive lineman and why I think that that's okay, but I think it's okay. Let's see. Tyler, will the Rams retain the number 1 D? You know what, man? I think I don't want to say we definitely got better, but because I don't think that that's necessarily true, but I think we'll be pretty in line with last year. Losing John Johnson sucks. Losing Troy Hill sucks. Losing Michael Brockers sucks. Losing Morgan Fox sucks. But, we replaced these guys. Like, we had safeties for days last year. We had Jordan Fuller and Terrell Burgess and Taylor Rapp. We've got these guys at depth at that position. And so we lose John Johnson. That sucks. But it's like, okay, but we'll be okay. And then you lose Troy Hill. Okay, well, David Long, the coaches have been positive about him. They've had good things to say, so I'm sure that'll be good. And then we draft Robert Rochelle. You lose Michael Brockers. Bobby Brown is just Michael Brockers, in my opinion. Like, maybe I'm a little bit biased. I'm a Texas A&M fan, but he was eating up those, like, the double and triple team blocks all last year. And still got 5.5 sacks. I know that's not super amazing, but he's also now going to be next to Aaron Donald. So if he can eat up some blocks, it's only beneficial. And then Morgan Fox, you lose him, but then you bring in a guy like like Ernest Brown or I don't know. I think that we're going to be fine. I think that we're going to be fine. But as far as the coaching goes, I think that the Rams got better with Raheem Morris over Staley. And I like Staley, but I think Raheem Morris is a very good coach. Very good coach. Next one here is from Sarah. Who's your favorite Ram at the moment? Strong question. I've had a difficult time with this ever since Mark Barron left for the Steelers. He's not even in football anymore. It makes me sad. I wish we'd have him back. We don't really need him, though. I'm going to lock in Jordan Fuller. I'm going to go ahead and lock in Jordan Fuller. I know that some people probably think I was going to go Bobby Brown, but I'm going to go Fuller. He's got the best hair on the field. Best hair in the franchise is Les Snead, for sure. But on the field, on the football field, Jordan Fuller's got the best hair. He's also wearing number 4 this year, and I just find that extremely intriguing for some reason. I don't know what it is about Fuller 4 on a bone gray jersey that I feel like I have to own that. So I'm probably going to do that. And you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and lock it in. Jordan Fuller. What up, man? Jordan Fuller. That's Sheriff Joe Bag's favorite Ram. Tell your friends. I don't think they would care, really. Yeah, that conversation would be really interesting. Okay, man. Sheriff Joe Bag's favorite player is Jordan Fuller. They're like, cool. This last one here is going to come from Ian. If Stafford doesn't work out, do you see LA going into next year's draft, albeit a weaker draft class, to find a suitable backup, or will they go the free agency route? First of all, man, I want clarity on what this means. If he doesn't work out, what does that mean? Is that missing the playoffs? Is it he doesn't hit 4,000? Is it he gets hurt? Does he just look exactly like Jared Goff and just fumbles the ball, and then we're like, oh, it's our offense, it wasn't our quarterback? Like, I don't know what doesn't work out means. But to answer your question, say the Rams win like 6 games with Stafford, and he plays the whole year, and just like it's like, oh, okay, this wasn't it. I don't think that that's what's going to happen, but let's just say I don't think that the Rams go the draft route at all. And I also don't, I don't want to say that this is going to be 100% just a weaker class, because we don't know yet. I mean, Spencer Rattler, cocky as hell, but very good. A little raw still, but he's still in college. He's got time to work on that. Cocky as hell, but that doesn't bother me at all. If you're good, you're good, man. Just say it. I mean, I'm a big Floyd Mayweather fan. Obviously, I love Manziel. He wasn't good in the NFL, but he is the best player Texas A&M's ever seen. So, I mean, I think that counts for something. I mean, I know some people like you only base it off the NFL success. I'm a Texas A&M fan, and for my experience of being a fan of him on my favorite team, it was a mega success. That game against Duke, the Chick-fil-A Bowl, are you kidding me, guys? Come on. Anyway, I don't think that it's fair to say that this is a weaker class just yet, but I mean, it's a weaker class because Trevor Lawrence was in this class. And if you're going to base that on saying it's a weaker class because Trevor Lawrence was in this class, most classes are a weaker class. So not every draft class has a Trevor Lawrence. That dude's good, man. So, I mean, Spencer Rattler probably improve enough at OU this year to be the number 1 overall pick. If I had to guess, if you guys haven't checked it out, the QB School YouTube channel, it's JT O'Sullivan, a quarterback of of a bunch of teams, but I remember from the Detroit Lions the most. He's got a YouTube channel. He breaks down these guys, and I love it. Honestly, that's one of my favorite things to watch. And it's one of the things, like, over the course of the year, I'll understand the quarterbacks really well because I'll be watching him, and I'm really interested to see how in, like, the next couple of years, how, like, he did his rankings of quarterbacks. He was, like, really high on, like, Kellen Mond over certain other guys that even went higher, but I'm interested to see how his rankings unfold over, like, a 5-year period and to see how those guys' careers unfold and then kind of compare because, like, who the hell's Mel Kiper? Like, because honestly, though, like, well, what qualifications does he have to say anything? But, like, JT O'Sullivan played in the NFL. He knows what the coaches look for. He knows this stuff. So I think it's reasonable. Anyway, answer your question. I don't think the Rams address quarterback next year at all unless the Wolf, is gone. And then they're just looking for a backup. And I think that the Rams would address that via free agency. So if quarterback gets addressed at all, I think that would happen in free agency. I don't think that the Rams would draft a quarterback next year. I don't think the Rams draft a quarterback after that. I think it's pretty well understood that we're looking at about 5 years for Stafford minimum. And then looks like 7 is what the conversation has gone to at least a couple of times. If we can get him to 7, if we can get him to 40 years old, it's a success. I mean, if he's playing really well, of course. If we get him to 40 and he sucks the entire time, that's not cool. But either way. All right, thank you guys for your fan quesos. If you guys want to drop those, feel free. Shaw's Customs sponsors fan quesos, and it's good stuff. Shaw's Customs is the dopest. You guys saw the commercial. I made that. I made it. It was cool. Spent my Saturday doing that. It's funny to me because I'm, like, just in my room, or in my studio. It's just a room, but I'm, like, in here, like, taking photos in front of my green screen back there. That's funny, man. If somebody could, like, see inside my window, they'd be like, what is that dude? I'm, like, wearing my sheriff hat. That's so cool. Anyway, none of that matters. You guys want to know a secret? I re-recorded the entire first half of this episode. I finished it after going into the break, and I was like, that wasn't good. I'm going to do it again. That's my secret. That's nothing crazy. But that's what I did today. So I recorded Ram Showcase twice for you guys. Or 1.5, I guess, is more realistic. But yeah, make sure you guys check out Shaw's Customs. Link will be in the description below wherever you guys are listening or seeing me. You guys will have access to that. And make sure you guys drop your fan cases. I will get those answered on the next episode. If it's very time sensitive, then I'll just answer you right away. But let me know what's up. And again, where did I put this? Oh, anyway. That's irrelevant now to you guys, so make sure you guys follow the Ram Showcase on all your favorite social media. That would be at Ram Showcase on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/Ram Showcase. You can follow myself as well at Sheriff Joe Bags on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/Sheriff Joe Bags. Pretty good stuff for you guys. Next week, Cody, we got your top 5 trades. It's the only note on my page. Well, I mean, there's sections and stuff, but that's the only thing written down show-wise is that top 5 trades. I really might change that list on. I'm kind of second-guessing myself a little bit. I might just rearrange 2 and 3. I might just swap them. But we'll see what happens. Well, you got a week now to knock them out, so yeah, we'll definitely get that for you, man. Sorry it's taking me like so long to answer a simple question of the top 5 trades. I want to just bring in trades, top 5 lists. We'll call it like cracking the Cody or something. Something, I don't know. We'll think of something. Maybe that'll be it. I don't know. That is going to do it for me, though. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you that are Rams fans, thank you guys so much for listening, and you guys have a great night.